I was just driving down the road and spotted this. There's a bald eagle in the tree, like perfectly positioned. I pulled over to the side of the road. Look at this thing. I'm gonna try to get a photo real fast. Really technical, just leaning out the car window, you know, with the 70-200. Thing flew away. See, this is why I have no patience for wildlife photography. One of the things I like to do when I feel like I'm in like a shooting slump or something, or just not really motivated to get out and take a lot of photos. I mean, we've all been there. We've all gone through these moments of like not knowing what to shoot or feeling like there's nothing around us where we live that we can actually get out, find, and shoot. But one of the things I like to do is like forcing myself into different situations and forcing myself to be creative. And really going out to places that I've been hundreds of times before. This is a waterfall that's about a 45-minute drive from where I live on the Natchez Trace Parkway in Middle Tennessee, called Jackson Falls. And I've been here so many times I've lost count. And there's really like one obvious composition that you can get out and shoot, and it's from down here on the very far side, shooting up right at the waterfall, and then you have another cascade on the top of it, and you can get both in the same shot, and it's really cool, but it's the obvious shot. Like, there's no creativity to it. So one of the things that I like to do, and what I'm going to do today, is basically force myself to take different compositions here, force myself to go beyond what I would normally shoot, and force myself to go beyond what I've already done in photography in a location. And sometimes it sparks like a creative energy or a creative vision that you have for landscapes. I think that's pretty cool. Like here, I'm gonna go for 3 different compositions in this same location today that I haven't shot before. And it's been like raining off and on, and when you get those conditions, water levels can fluctuate and change. So I'm gonna try to get several different shots that I've never gotten before here, and I'm gonna try to do it and create 3 keeper photos, because looking back on those keeper photos, like I remember one time I went to Florida and I was just walking along the beach one morning at sunrise, and I got like 3, 4, 5 keeper shots all in one walk. And I was really excited, and it really made me excited to get out and shoot again. So that's what I'm gonna try to force myself to do today. And I would encourage you guys to do the same thing. If you feel stuck, if you feel like there's nothing around you to shoot, really force yourself into those situations. So let's go down here and really try and see what we can figure out and how to shoot these. So for this shot, and obviously I'm in a really weird situation, like look at this, where my leg is. Anyone who tells you that you're not gonna get into any weird situations in landscape photography is completely lying to you, because number 1, I had to like maneuver my body into this position, and number 2, my foot is soaking wet because I slipped several times getting over here and already submerged my entire shoes in water. But for this shot in particular, what I wanna do is use the rocks that I'm sitting on. Like there's this wave of rocks kind of pointing to the waterfall behind me, and I want to use those like textures in the rocks to really pull you towards the water itself, and then use that water in a long exposure to pull you even further into the frame, and then lastly have that draw you to the background, to the waterfall itself. Like I'll pull you up here to really see how this is framed out. Straight back and then back to the main waterfall. And I'm using a 1-second exposure f/16 ISO 100 with a circular polarizer. Hey, you need a circular polarizer for waterfall photography. If you want more information on one of those, click or tap your screen right here on the card that's showing up. But this actually turned out to be a really cool shot in and of itself. All right guys, this is the composition that I'm really excited about today and probably is gonna be my favorite one from the day. Just because I've never seen the water flowing this much, this far down the stream from this waterfall. It's usually just like a little trickle, but today it is like really flowing. And what I can use here is, you'll see my camera set up behind me. I'm using a wide angle lens, and I'm gonna use the path of the water to curve around the left side of the frame and really grab that attention, but also pull you to the back. And in the back, just like hiding out, is the main waterfall that everybody shoots. No one really comes down this far though. And I'm gonna how do you make a popular location unique is you find complementary subjects and add them into the frame. That's what I'm trying to do here. I'm gonna shoot this at 2.5 seconds, f/16, ISO 100, and really frame this up. Again, super excited about this particular shot, and it's just a really good view of the overall scene here. Really love it. So for my last composition, what I want to do is get like a detail shot. So many times with waterfalls, you get shots from way back that have the entire scene in them. What I want to do is use these trees that are behind me to frame up this waterfall in a creative way, like having movement behind a still tree, creating contrast not only in color because the trees are dark and green and in shadows, and then the waterfall is in a highlight white, but I also want to do contrast in movement. The trees are still, the water's moving. I want to contrast and pair those together, and I'm already feeling like this could be the shot that I really want to get here that I've never shot before, because it's simple, but at the same time it's complex. So I'm going to use my telephoto lens to frame this shot up. So what I'm doing for this shot is using a telephoto lens, and I'm using these two trees that are right in front of the waterfall, and I'm gonna shoot like right through them. I'm gonna use them on each side, and I'm gonna take the photo of the waterfall, using them as a natural window to frame up the waterfall. Now, on this, I want to do a little bit of edge patrol and watch the sides of the composition just to be sure that I'm not cutting off either edge of the tree. And I just want this to be a very nice, simple, classic shot that just looks really good. It's simplistic, it's nice, it shows contrast. It's exactly what I want. What's great about this too is I don't have to really focus stack this because everything's really close together. I'm not dealing with a long distance in between the two objects, and if I was to do that, if I was dealing with long distances, I'd have to focus stack this. More on that with this card showing up on your screen right now. I don't have to do that right now because I'm shooting with f/16, and these are probably only about 15 feet apart, so I'm not too worried about focusing issues in this shot specifically.
At the end of the day, from time to time, every landscape photographer suffers through the problem of thinking that they don't have enough to shoot or they can't shoot anything around them. And oftentimes, it just comes down to pushing through that roadblock and actually forcing yourself to go out and find things to shoot in order to progress your creativity and get better at shooting.